All righty. Perfect. Hello, team. Welcome to the Standard Podcast, where we raise the bar, rebuild the culture, and call out the lies or misconception no one else will. This isn't motivation. This is a movement. I'm Thomas Rowe, joined by my host or hostess, Aaron Charles Bowers, as well as John Woods, athletic director of Libertyville High School and one of the nation's leading voices on building championships culture. For more than 2 decades, John's mission has been simply and unwavering to inspire, influence, educate, and empower others to become the best they are capable of becoming. Overseeing one of the largest athletic departments in Illinois, 31 varsity sports, 93 teams, and a $1.1 million budget, John has built systems that transform young people and adults. He's authored and chairs LTC 727. John, you're going to have to get into that so we can explain what that is. The National Course on Building Championship Culture, founded Wildcat Will, a mental performance and leadership development academy, and has served the Illinois Athletic Directors Association for over 2 decades as president, treasurer, and Hall of Fame chair. But what separates John is this. His job is not athletics. His job is transformation. And athletics is simply the vehicle. We're diving into the truth behind what it really takes to build an identity, discipline, and legacy in sports and in life. Let's get into it. First of all, John, what color is your cape? You're a superhero with everything I just read off. Good God. Congratulations.
Black and orange.
Of course it is.
Yes. Black and orange, always. Thank you so much for the opportunity to chat with you all this afternoon. I was certainly flattered when you reached out and grateful for the time we had together on that call a couple of weeks ago, and look forward to learning and sharing this afternoon.
Awesome. You say your job is not about athletics. It's about transformation. What does raising the standard mean to you, especially in the work you're doing with Libertyville and across the country?
Wow, that's a great question. I think it starts with establishing a standard to begin with. I'll give you an example. As a former basketball coach, I used to get tickled by watching how teams warm up. And then I would listen to coaches say, we always come out flat in the first quarter or first half. And you look at how kids warm up. Everybody does their little layup lines. Number 5 does 3 dribbles to get to the basket. The other guy rebounds it, throws it out with 2 hands to number 12. Number 12 takes 9 dribbles to get to the basket. Another guy rebounds, throws it with 1 hand. Everybody's doing something different.
Right.
We're executing the same outcome, which is the layup. Everybody knows, anybody that played basketball knows the 2 lines, the layup and the rebounding line. One of the worst drills on the planet. but go into any gym and you see it.
Right.
Now, why is it the worst? Because it doesn't come with any sort of standard. And so when we talk about standards, how do we rebound the basketball? How do we pivot? How do we throw a pass? How do we receive the pass? Do we have 2 feet in the air, 2 hands on the ball, 2 eyes on the ball? Are we jump stepping? Are we hopping? Are we Euro stepping? Are we whatever? How many dribbles to get to the basket?
Right.
Do we high jump? Do we long jump? Those are standards. And so when we talk about standards within athletic departments, what are the standards of operations within the athletic department? Do we have a shared mission, for example? Do we have a shared vision? Where are we going? How are we going to get there? What are the behaviors that we're going to commit to on a daily basis to make sure that we continue to make incremental, consistent progress over time to get to where we say we want to go? And beyond that, to become who we say we want to become.
Fair enough. Where would you, let's see here. We're getting some background noise. John, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
A little bit of static.
No worries. All right, let's just work through it. What would you say is the biggest lie or misconception you feel the culture of the sports industry has sold athletic directors, coaches, and athletes about success, winning, and what really matters?
Success, winning, and what really matters. Well, let's just start with success. How do we define success? And if we do not define success, then the default definition of success is your Nevco or your Daktronics or your OES scoreboard that says you either won or you lost. You are either a success or you are not.
Right.
And if that's going to be our measuring stick for whether or not we're successful, we're in for a long ride, long bumpy ride, and we are truly not committed to the intent, the purpose, the why we do what we do. At the high school level, everybody falls under the umbrella, the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. We talk about interscholastic education-based athletics.
Sure.
It doesn't say interscholastic, just win, baby, athletics. And so if it's truly education-based, then what are the lessons that we are being intentional about teaching? So many people will say, well, athletics develops character. I don't think it does. I think it reveals character.
100%.
And then what are we doing as leaders, whether athletic director or coach, teacher, to be intentional about teaching those lessons and what are the lessons that we're teaching? And that goes back to our mission, our vision, our set of core principles, our above the line, our below the line behaviors, our standards.
Fair enough. And you say culture is not a slogan, it's a system.
Mm-hmm.
How did you see that misconception playing out? And what made you dedicate your career to teaching championship culture differently than anybody else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if it's differently. I do know that it's uncommon. And so, like I said, in my 24 years as an athletic director, oftentimes we are measured, coaches are measured using, as I mentioned earlier, society's scorecard to determine whether or not we're successful. And so years ago, when I was in Champaign, Illinois, down in central Illinois, probably 15 years ago, worked with our staff to define, like, who are we? What do we want our identity to be? What is it we say we want to achieve? And so back then, we started working on our mission, our vision, and our core principles. And that stuck with me. 8 years later, came up to Libertyville High School and worked alongside a friend, a colleague, a mentor of mine, Brian Kane. And he shared this system, basically what we were doing, but now it's systematized into this MVP process. Mission, vision, core principles. People may call them core values, may call them standards, may call them something. We call them principles because MVP sounds a lot cooler than like MVV. So that's the system. But the key one of the things that I've seen in my experience teaching across the country and working with athletic directors and coaches across the country is oftentimes we think that we have to be the sage on the stage, which means I am going to write our mission, I am going to write our vision, and I am going to determine our core principles and define what they look like in action. And then I'm going to tell my people, this is who we are, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. And if people don't have a voice in it, they can't get down with it. And so taking a collaborative approach, and that's part of the class that you mentioned earlier, is teaching the system for how to include your people, your stakeholders, your kids, your coaches in developing, designing, and defining your MVP.
That's badass. That you oversee. Now we're going to get into identity and legacy. You oversee 31 varsity sports, 93 teams, $1 million budget, and you've led a complete rebrand of Libertyville. You also say that you're not defined by accomplishments alone. You're defined by a mission. You touched on that earlier. Who is John Woods beyond the titles? And how would you define character, integrity, and discipline?
I'm just writing it down here. Character, integrity, and discipline. So when we think about John Woods beyond the walls of Libertyville High School, I am the proud father of our son, Peyton, our daughter, Kendall, two incredible children. Actually, they're adults now. And proud husband of my beautiful bride, Nikki. We have been married going on 30 years, believe it or not. She has been by my side for 36. She put up with me for 6 years before I finally built up the courage to ask her to marry me. And she has been my rock. She is my rock, and she will be my rock for the duration of my life for sure. And so beyond that, they are my pride and joy, and they inspire me every single day. And when you talk about character and integrity and discipline, to me, character and integrity sort of go side by side or hand in hand. And it's really doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, and doing it that way every single time, and not making decisions based on what's comfortable or convenient, but making decisions based on who you are and who you say you are. So to me, character and integrity, this is who I say I am, and these are my actions, and they align. They go hand in hand. And coincidentally, integrity is one of my 3 personal core principles. Respect, integrity, and passion are the 3. When you talk about discipline, to me, discipline it's ironic. I sent my wife and daughter, they get up, they inspire me every morning to get up and get after it. And they go work out at 5 a.m. And I sent them a text every single morning. And this morning we were talking about, like, it was a little bit difficult to get out of bed. It's -1 this morning in Libertyville, wind chill of whatever, really cold. It's dark. And motivation is sort of like a roller coaster. It comes and goes. There are days I'm feeling fired up to go work out. There's days I'm not.
Right.
But it's discipline that gets you out of bed. It's discipline that puts those shoes on. It's discipline that sends you to the gym. It's discipline that takes you through the execution at the standard that you need to execute in order to live the lifestyle that you say you want to live.
No question.
So you got motivation and you have discipline. Motivation may get you started. Discipline is going to allow you to finish.
Agreed. Well, I know that Erin is also the producer of this show, so I'm going to go off script, Erin, and I know she's getting big-eyed right now, John. But you touched on something that Erin and I have had this conversation. We feel like a majority of the problems in today's society starts at home. What is the secret to being a successful husband and father? 36 years with your wife, 2 beautiful kids. Clearly, they're as successful as you. What's the secret?
Man, buddy, you have to have a significant other that is every bit as strong as my bride. She is, I mentioned it earlier, she has been, she is, she will be my rock, and she makes me better. And so you have to surround yourself with people that are going to make you better, that are on the same mission as you, and wouldn't be where I am today without her. The secret, I don't know the secret. I know what worked for us, and that is to love our kids unconditionally. I know that for us, we exposed them to all the things that they wanted to try, including some they didn't growing up. And that included putting them in soccer, putting them in basketball, putting them in football, putting them in cross-country club, putting them in swim, doing musicals, doing instruments, doing gymnastics, doing all the things. It was not my responsibility. It was not my wife's responsibility to choose what their passion was going to be.
Right.
So for us, exposing them to everything while walking alongside them, supporting them unconditionally, and being there when adversity struck, being there when there were obstacles, being there to teach them how to navigate the road rather than us trying to plow through and make the road ready for my kids. And so allowing them to fail, I think, was maybe one of the best things that my wife and I ever did for our kids. It wasn't about always making the road easy for them. It was about allowing them to fail and then teaching them how to respond rather than react to influence a more favorable outcome.
That's incredible. I mean, you nailed that one, which is a great segue into this next question. You said the true measure of an AD is not how many games were won, but how many people were changed. What's the one truth you wish every coach, athletic director, and athlete understood about leadership and culture?
Wow. leadership is all about influence, and leaders' responsibility is not to walk around in the suit and tie and pull into your designated parking spot with your sign and wonder why it wasn't plowed when the snow was 6 inches high or whatever. Libertyville, we don't have designated parking spots, and you can see I don't wear a suit and tie. I walk alongside our coaches. Right. And for me, I think something that is very important for people to know is we strive to be the best part of our kids' day. I mean, they sit in class for 7-8 hours a day, and then they go to practice. And sometimes they ate 5 hours ago. And part of our mission is to be the best part of their day. And then another component of our vision is to do things better today than we did yesterday. And so thinking about those two things as our lighthouse, if you will, to me, those are the most important things. Like if we can create an environment where our kids can excel, where our kids can grow, they're going to get better. The outcome's going to be the outcome. If we win or lose, that's great. But if our kids become better people because of their experience participating in our athletic programs, that's the win.
Right.
Because what is it? We all know that the stats, you guys know them better than me. What is it? Like 2% go on to compete at the collegiate level, 2% of the number of kids, graduating seniors, I guess. But 100% go on to be adults.
That's it. Yep.
And so what are we doing to prepare our kids for adulthood?
Okay, perfect. So now we're going to get into advice across stages. Mm-hmm. If you could sit down with a young athletic director or young coach and a younger version of yourself when you first started out 2 decades ago, what advice would you give about building culture and leadership with purpose?
It's a great question. Leadership with purpose and culture. Number one, I wish that somebody would have defined culture for me back when I was starting out. Because, it wasn't a buzzword back in 2000 like it is today. Turn on any press conference, culture, 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 culture. What is it? What is culture? For us, it's simple. It's our behaviors.
Sure.
Do we behave in alignment with our values? And when we do, that's when we have a championship culture, when our behaviors align with who we say we are, where we say we're going, how we say we're going to get there. So for me, as a young AD to young ADs that I mentor today, work alongside with today, that's an important piece. Like,
sure.
Get real clear on who you are. Right. And if somebody would have told me that 20 years ago, 25 years ago, like, John, who are you and why do you want to be an athletic director?
Right.
And why are you the guy? Like, I didn't have a personal definition of success back in 2000. To me, success was winning.
Right.
And we did it a lot. And core principles, whatever. And culture, I don't know, mission, whatever. So, but the why, like why I do what I do is to inspire, influence, educate, and empower others to become the best they're capable of becoming. I told you my core principles earlier. It's respect, integrity, and passion. And people ask me all the time, like, how do you get your 8 hours of sleep? How do you have so much energy? How do you get up and in the pool at 5 a.m. in the morning here at Libertyville? It's real simple. When I live a life of respect, integrity, and passion every single day, I rest in peace every single night when I go horizontal. And so if somebody would have told me that, and that's what I share today, get clear on your why. Simon Sinek starts with why. Get clear on your why, clear on your principles, and then the what and the how is going to take care of itself.
No question. That's great for coaches and athletic directors. But how about the student athlete who is learning how to lead themselves and respond to adversity? One of the things that we share with our student athletes is just because you're a captain doesn't mean you can't be a leader, right? And whether you're a leader or a captain, you're going to experience adversity. What's the one thing that these student athletes need to know that will shape them on how they become and how they overcome adversity?
Wow, that's a great question. And I wish I could share these pictures with you. Our boys, one of our sports the other day came in. And so you mentioned lead themselves and respond to adversity. So you have to be able to lead yourself before you can lead others. One of the things we talk about with our student athletes that participate or attend our mental performance and leadership development group, Wildcats Will, on Friday mornings, is that in order to control your performance, you have to be able to control yourself. And the
Sure.
same is true about leadership. And so we share with our kids strategies for how to identify why you do what you do. And identify your core principles. In fact, tomorrow morning, we're wrapping up our semester, and one of the culminating activities is going to be just that, identifying your core principles, because who you are at the core is going to come out in the fourth quarter when there's 4 seconds on the clock. It's our ball out of bounds at half court, and we got to execute whatever it is we got to execute. The play don't matter.
Right.
What matters is the level we execute during our practices, which goes back to your standards and all the things. So when we talk about leadership with kids, we talk about leading yourself first before we can lead others. And then you mentioned respond to adversity. Tim Kite, I'm not sure if you're familiar with, Tim passed away, I think, a year and a half ago. Brian is his son. Tim worked with Urban Meyer at Ohio State.
Right.
He's mentioned in the book Above the Line. And then Brian has continued his work, and his stuff is fantastic too. But they talk about E plus R equals O. Event plus response equals the outcome or influences the outcome. It's not event, it's not react, it's response. And so teaching kids, providing them with skills and strategies, breathing techniques, visualization, mental imagery for when adversity strikes, rather than enduring or figuring out how to navigate adversity the first time they see it, we have to practice that as well.
Right.
And so those are things that we teach our kids.
That's badass.
The picture I was going to share real quick, is so our one of our sports, they put together, it's all sideways and stuff. They put together a couple things. Their team goals. I don't know if you can see, they framed it, and it's on sticky notes. So it's written by the kids.
There you go.
Talk about leadership. Barriers and roadblocks. Let's talk about them now,
Right.
rather than when we're in the middle of a championship meet. They got bad nutrition. They got low morale. They got not listening to our coach, poor sportsmanship, doubt, team negativity, not slick. Like, this is from kids. And if you want to put kids in leadership positions, then we have to put kids in leadership positions.
Right.
And then the other one they have on here is keys to success. So they got their goals. Let's recognize and increase our awareness of the potential obstacles.
Sure.
And then let's write down our keys to success. That's the kids doing it. That's not the coach doing it. That's coach-fed, player-led.
That's awesome, because it almost is like the philosophy of being proactive as opposed to reactive, right? Anticipating what's going to happen.
Yes, sir.
John, we're going into the fourth segment, rapid fire or 2-minute warning. I'm just going to fire something out, and you're just going to go ahead and finish it. It's kind of a little bit of a hot seat, but just have fun with it. Discipline equals
Freedom.
leadership equals
Influence.
faith equals
Say that again.
faith.
Power in the future.
Legacy equals
What you have left within someone.
got it. What is one thing you would never compromise on?
My unwavering commitment to the kids and coaches at Libertyville High School.
Badass. There you go. And what is one message that you would put on a billboard for the next generation?
Remember this your lifetime through. Tomorrow, there will be more to do, and failure waits for those who stay with some success made yesterday. Tomorrow, we must try once more and even harder than before.
There you go. There you go. Wow. John, before we wrap up, is there something we didn't touch on today that you feel like athletic directors, coaches, student athletes, or parents need to hear about culture, leadership, and transformation?
Yes. We are trained as a society to either A, judge somebody based on their performance, or B, what the scoreboard says. And to me, it is so beyond the scoreboard. It's about how we do things. And it's about who we become in the process. It breaks my heart when I hear about 12-year-old kids quitting because they're burned out. And when I think about a 12-year-old kid, they have likely been playing that sport that they're burned out on for 10 years, which means they put in a full career.
Sure.
Because they've been playing since they were 2.
Right.
And it's the only thing they've been playing. I think in order for culture, like our behaviors, to align with who we say we are, man, you have to have fun and you have to maintain a level of joy in why you do what you do.
There you go.
When you can combine fun with joy, with intentionality and purpose, I mean, it's unbelievable what you can achieve, but it's even more amazing who our children will become along the way.
Sure. Final 2 questions. This one is a little bit off the cuff. How many people have said you remind them of Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, God. Dang it. I've heard that at least once.
At least once today.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, man.
That's all. Hey, look, there are worse people to be compared to, right? So
Yes. I enjoy a lot of his movies and I enjoy some of his talks, and yeah, he's a good dude.
John, name three coaches that have influenced you. It could be any sport, it could be any level, pro, college, anything. 3 coaches that have influenced you.
Yeah, I mean, right out of the gate, John Wooden was, when I first started coaching basketball, I wanted to become the best, and I tried to figure out who the best is, and I realized, like, John Wooden has to be the best.
That's it.
So studied everything about him. Pat Summitt was the coach early in my career that I was just amazed by her. And then the third, gosh, man, buddy, I'm telling you right now, Ben Johnson.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't know it, but I'm creeping all over his stuff, and the transformation with the Chicago Bears is incredible. And it started, if you go back to his initial press conference, it started with him telling those guys, get comfortable being uncomfortable. There's going to be a new set of standards here, but beyond that, we're going to provide the support
there you go
to be able to reach those standards. So I'm throwing Ben Johnson in there.
I like it. And I think your honorable mention is going to be Lute Olson, because I went to Arizona and he's a fantastic basketball coach. I think that's what you meant to say as your
love Lute Olson, love Pete Carroll, love Steve Kerr, love.
Sure. Yeah. Awesome. That's fantastic. Hey, John, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. We want to be sensitive to your time. Where can people get a hold of you? Either through LinkedIn or social media or email, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, I'm in on LinkedIn at I think it's just John Woods on LinkedIn. Awesome. It is. And then they can hit me up on email at john.woods with an S at d128.org.
Awesome. John, thanks for sharing your story and your truth today. We really appreciate it. Team, if this conversation challenged you, inspired you, or made you think differently, do 2 things for us. 1, share the episode with someone who needs to hear it. An athletic director building a program, a coach trying to create culture, or a student athlete learning how to lead. 2, connect with John and learn more about Wildcats Will and LTC 727. If you're serious about building a championship culture and not just winning games, but transforming people, John is one of the best in the business. And if you're an athlete, parent, or coach ready to raise the standard, check out blueprintbluechip.com. We help athletes build identity, discipline, and legacy that goes beyond the game. If you're ready to get clear on who you are beyond the game, join us for our free 3-day win-play show. You can find that also at blueprintbluechip.com. It's designed for athletes who are ready to rebuild their foundation. And if this episode resonated with you, take 30 seconds, team, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps us reach more athletes, parents, and leaders who need to hear this message. This is the Standard Podcast, and this movement only grows when we raise the standard together. Talent fades, but truth endures. Let's raise the bar, rebuild the culture, and become the standard. We'll see you next time. Coach John, thank you. John Woods, thanks so much. Aaron, thank you. Appreciate all your patience. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Awesome.